Hi, my name's Sydney, and I'm going to be talking about a couple topics today. The first one is B.F. Skinner, and he was known as like the most influential psychologist, and this is because of his content and because of his practices. For his practices, he was like the first one that really made his experiments really observable, and he wanted them to be recreated and objective, and then his content was behavior analysis, and this was like exterminating bad behaviors, modifying behaviors, things of that nature. And then he also talked about how you could use those in other applications to better the lives of people. So he he wrote books about like behavior and education, behavior and drug abuse, um, and then like mental health facilities and stuff. So how you could change their behavior to make their lives better. Um, and he's really famous for the Skinner animal boxes, and he's from the 1930s. And he's the father of operant conditioning, and this is like you get reinforced or punished for a behavior, and it's voluntary, your choices. So he's the father of that. Okay, and he's one of the biggest founders of psychology in general, and especially behaviorism. And mastery learning is it's like you meet a goal in your whatever content area before you can move forward. So it's like you're gonna get a 90% on this math test, and until you do, you're gonna keep doing it over and over again until you get a 90%, and then you can move on to the next topic. And I think that is really beneficial in a math setting, because how are you supposed to know the next thing if you didn't understand the foundation for it? But I don't think that that's really applicable for a lot of content areas, because you can learn things at different times, and it really doesn't matter a precise order like math. Like for phonics, for example, when you do a phonics evaluation on a kid, like there's like a progression list of like simple to complex vowel patterns or whatever. And some of the kids, like they know like the simple ones, and then all of a sudden you're doing the test and they know like some of the most difficult ones. And then you would just work on the ones in between that they didn't know. And you could teach them sort of, I mean, you want to teach them down, but you could teach them in any order. You don't have to know that, like, O says foot, to be able to get OW or whatever. Um, and then Bloom's taxonomy, I use that a lot. I've had a class all about writing tests, and I think that's like the most like the best way you can use Bloom's taxonomy is in creating your learning objectives and your test questions and your assessments. So for a lot of like Bloom's is like a pyramid, and the bottom is like knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and then evaluation. And they all just kind of use different parts of your brain, of different thinking patterns. And people, assume like evaluation is the best. And it is sometimes, but for other things, you just need to know about it. You just need to be able to apply it to other situations. So we have to have all of them in the curriculum and in the assessments. And it's fine, like when you're first starting out with a class on a topic, for everything to be knowledge and comprehension. And then when you get further into the lessons, then you can expect them to synthesize and evaluate more. And this kind of stuff is easier to do the higher level thinking, like learning or whatever, in the higher grades. I that's just from my personal experience doing lesson plans, but little kids can also do evaluation in the higher ones too. They're just not going to do it as often as like high school or college students. We're doing evaluation all the time with our writing papers um, and like article critiques and that kind of stuff. But then we also do a lot of the knowledge, just like quizzes, about the chapter. And in college, we do a lot of the application too. So you have to do like, a lesson plan on something that you would use in your classroom, or on being culturally inclusive and how you'd use that in your classroom. All right, well, thanks for listening. Bye.